Noah knows. Watch Noah Bergeron weeknights on Fox 35.
Coming up next, we are tracking some strong storms moving through our area. They could dump lots of rain and even hail. The Fox 35 storm team is tracking it all.
Plus, bad news for the Boeing Starliner. The capsule has 3 helium leaks. How it could spell trouble for the astronauts as they return to Earth. Right now on Fox 35 News at 5, some much-needed rain is hitting Central Florida right now in the form of storms. You're taking a live look at Orlando, Daytona Beach, and Lake Mary. We've got some dark clouds off in the distance. And this is a look at the Fox 35 Storm Team radar for this evening. You can see lots of rain here and strong storms popping up over the next few hours. Thanks for being here with us. I'm Marlisa Goldsmith.
And I'm Luann Sorrell. We are talking lots of thunder and lightning as well. Let's get right on over to Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Bergeron. Noah, time out these storms for us.
Yeah, guys, it really looks like between about 6 and 8 will be the peak of the storms for this evening, which is welcome news in the sense that we need the rain. Obviously, we never want to wish for severe weather. Right now, we don't have any active severe storm warnings across our area, but that'll change in the coming few hours. Let me take you on a little tour here. First, a look at the radar over the last 1 hour. I want you to notice this little faint green line here. That's the sea breeze coming in from the east coast. We had a severe storm down in clipping Polk County. This one is drifting northward towards Winter Haven and eventually the Disney area. So if you know anybody at the theme parks or Disney Springs, this is a ton of lightning and an all-out torrential downpour that about an hour, hour and a half will be going by the theme park area. So heads up for that. But notice this line here. When the sea breeze comes in, it picks up dust and bugs and things, and it shows up on the radar. That's moving westward. And in about an hour, this faint little line here that you see will spark a ton of thunderstorms right along the I-4 corridor. It hasn't yet, but it will once it gets closer to I-4. So in about maybe an hour or so, I would expect there to be a ton of thunderstorms closer to Altamont, Sanford, Lake Mary, back towards the airport, Ocoee, and eventually Claremont. A little showery here in eastern Seminole County, but that's about it at the current moment. Coming up in a few minutes, I'll walk you through the maps hour by hour and talk about even hotter weather that's on the way for the upcoming weekend, guys.
Noah, thank you. Now to some breaking news in Seminole County. We are getting new details tonight about that deadly carjacking of a woman back in April.
A new suspect in her murder has just been identified. Fox 35's Garrett Weimer is live in the newsroom with those breaking details. Garrett.
Well, new federal court documents that were just filed now name a 4th suspect in this case. His name is Derek Alexis Rodriguez Bonilla, and we're learning more about how all these suspects are connected. The new documents also connect the deadly carjacking to the shooting death of a tow truck driver in Orange County the night before the carjacking. It says Jordanish Torres Garcia shot and killed the tow truck driver and then took something out of the victim's car. He allegedly drove away in the green Acura. That green Acura was seen again the next day when Catherine Guasvivas was carjacked in Winter Springs. Her car was found burned with her body in it in Osceola County. Now, new documents say she was on the way to Giovanni Crespo Hernandez's home to pick up drug money. Crespo Hernandez is accused of calling Torres Garcia to rob and carjack the victim after she got the money. Now, this new suspect, Rodriguez Bonilla, and Kevin Ocasio Justiniano were part of that carjacking, according to these documents. All 4 now are being charged with federal crimes. There are more documents that we are still going through right now in this newsroom. We will have more details coming up on the News Edge at 6. Live in the newsroom, Garrett Weimer, Fox 35.
Garrett, thank you so much for that update. New problems for Starliner. More leaks and failing thrusters are complicating the flight test.
Yeah, astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore are safe at the space station right now, but docking came with some unexpected challenges. Fox 35's Esther Bauer is live at Kennedy Space Center. So Esther, Starliner now has 3 leaks in that capsule.
When we were here at the press site yesterday, we knew that Starliner was launching with one softball-sized helium leak, but when they got into orbit, two more leaks unexpectedly popped up. This means the spacecraft is losing helium, which is starting to affect the thrusters. Now, thankfully, the astronauts were able to safely dock at the space station just a few hours ago. NASA and Boeing say the astronauts are safe and the vehicle is stable at this time. And this mission is supposed to be about a week long for astronauts to test all of Starliner's capabilities while it is docked at the International Space Station. But Boeing needs to run a lot more tests to figure out just how much helium they are losing, since they have more leaks than they originally thought about. Now, just a few minutes ago, a press conference did kick off here at Kennedy Space Center. As soon as I wrap this up, I'm going to head into that. I'm going to be back tonight at 6 with new details from officials on the mission. Reporting live in Brevard County, Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
4, 3.
Also a success today for SpaceX's mega rocket. The Starship blasted off on its fourth unmanned test flight this morning from Texas. SpaceX was looking to avoid any explosions. Back in March, they lost contact with the spacecraft as it left Earth. This is the rocket that NASA and Elon Musk are counting on to get humans to the moon and to Mars.
New details. Investigators have identified the second person, Luann.
That's right, Marlisa. They identified the second person who fired a gun during a shooting at the Cabana Live Club in Sanford back in April. The Seminole County Sheriff's Office says a 20-year-old from Tallahassee shot back after 16-year-old Christopher Bowie allegedly opened fire inside that club. Bowie is now being charged as an adult. Deputies say they have sent the information about the new shooter to the state attorney's office, who will now decide if charges will be filed. The Florida Supreme Court upholds the suspension of Orange Osceola State Attorney Monique Worrell. The court ruled that Governor Ron DeSantis' decision to suspend her was reasonable based on his allegations. Well, the governor says Worrell was neglecting her duty to prosecute crime. Her lawyers argue that the move was unconstitutional. More and more businesses are closing up shop and moving out of downtown Orlando. We first told you last month that Hamburger Mary's was leaving, saying that area had become sleepy.
Well, officials say nearly 4 dozen businesses have closed in downtown Orlando since the beginning of last year. Fox 35's Matt Trezza is live in Orlando tonight. Matt, you have those numbers. What did you find out?
Yeah, so the bad news is that 47 businesses have closed in downtown Orlando since the start of 2023. But the good news is actually that 58 businesses have also opened during that time. So a bit of a mixed bag, but yet all over downtown, there are vacant storefronts on the first floors of the building, just like this one. And I talked with different stakeholders, a city official, somebody who works in one of these stores, somebody who manages one of these stores, and each of them cited different challenges to their business. But we also talked with some real estate analysts who said it's not all doom and gloom for downtown Orlando. We'll have more on that coming up at 6. Live in downtown, Matt Trezza, Fox 35 News.
Matt, thank you. Fox 35 News at 5 is just getting started tonight. Still ahead, do you think those I-4 express lanes should be expanded? If you do, you could be getting your wish.
Plus, an emotional reunion after a 9-year-old nearly drowns in a backyard pool. And today, she met the first responders who came to her rescue.
And a graduation at 30,000 feet. A 6-year-old missed the celebration here on Earth, but flight attendants made sure he could still mark the special occasion.
Florida is unique as the weather can go from beautiful and sunny to dark and tumultuous. We've got the largest network of weather cameras anywhere in the region, so you can keep your family safe. You can depend on the Fox 35 Storm Team.
I'm deeply connected to my family's history and culture, and that's why I love living in Orlando. In the morning, every minute matters, and as a traffic anchor, I'm going to help you save some time. I'm a human GPS. I can't help it. I'll see you on Good Day Orlando.
Fox 35 News is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
All right, despite a couple of tropical waves out across the Atlantic, no development is forecast over the next week, which remains good news, but it's the quietest start to a year since 2009.
New at 5, a 6-year-old missed his school's kindergarten graduation, but he didn't miss out on a ceremony altogether.
No, he was on a flight to Puerto Rico with his mom when the flight attendants caught wind about him missing his big day. Fox 35's Garrett Weimer shows us how they made sure he never forgot his graduation. Love that for him.
Such a sweet story.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, well, Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Berggren joining us now.
Noah, what are you tracking out there?
Yeah, guys, it looks like we're going to have a lot of storms that really start to fire up in the next hour or two. And this is really good news because we need the rain. Right now, we don't have any severe warnings in effect across central Florida, but I'm keeping an eye on this big storm down here right over Bartow, tracking up towards Lakeland and Haines City. This has got its eyes for eventually, if it holds together, towards the Disney area and Disney Springs. Also notice to my other side here, going through eastern Osceola, you're probably hearing and seeing some of that lightning and thunder in Brevard County. That's drifting southeastward into the rural part of western Brevard County. But right now we're not seeing a ton in the core of our area. Notice there's a downpour here just west of Mims, a couple of more in northern Flagler. The area to really watch is going to be right where my hand is, right along I-4 between about 6 and 8. I expect there to be a good amount of storm. So here's the area to keep an eye on through the evening. This is the severe weather outlook. We talked about this last night. It's basically how it looked last night. This is the official outlook. Areas in yellow, likely for some severe storms. Now, not every single person in the yellow is going to see a severe storm. It doesn't work like that, but some will, and I do expect there to be some large hail and a few 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Here's the view from our TV station, and you can notice this camera does a good job of portraying this. You can see, especially over here on this side, these clouds are really starting to grow vertically in the last hour or so. Temperature sitting at 87 in Seminole County, 88 in Daytona Beach, and you can see a little bit cloudier there right now, but this camera really does justice. You can see a lot of those cumulus clouds starting to bubble up, and it won't be long now till we have a ton of downpours out there. Man, was it hot today. Got to 100 degrees officially in Sanford, overperformed the forecast by a degree or two. 98 in DeLand, 98 in Orlando, 99 in Bithlo, 95 in Titusville, 96 today in Palm Coast. Right now, we're still sitting at 100 in Sanford. So this is more than your quote-unquote normal heat of the day summer thunderstorm in central Florida. That's why tonight there's that risk for severe weather, because it's so hot and it's so dry, the lack of rain recently, that the atmosphere is very unstable right now. Humidity is there. Dew points are close to 70, but it's not unheard of. It's just enough to cause a heat index, though, of 106 in Sanford, 104 Orlando, 104 currently in Kissimmee. It is Thursday. That means the new drought monitor came out. We've now got moderate drought into parts of Seminole County, and even a huge area of severe drought that has expanded now into parts of Brevard County. So about the storms for this evening, here's 6. I just showed you the radar now, and it's 5:20. Look by 6, we get rapid development of storms, and they'll push towards the I-4 corridor by 7. So here's 7 o'clock, places right along I-4 going through the city, the airport. Possible we could have a ground stop or some brief significant delays to air traffic around central Florida. 7, 8, then by 9, 10, this all winds down. But again, a couple of these storms will produce some large hail, maybe a few 60-mile-an-hour gusts. But it's so hot out in the atmosphere today that the air is very ripe to produce downpours. I mean, there'll be spots, I think, that get 2-3 inches of rain in 20-30 minutes out there in the next couple of hours. So I'll be here watching the radars. If we have warnings, we'll cover them here on air, and we'll get you the information you need. Tomorrow, a lot less coverage of showers and storms, 96. Upper 90s over the weekend, mostly sunny, and then we'll talk about this more, hopefully, in the next half hour. That it looks very wet and very unsettled. You can call it the start of the rainy season, if you will, starting Tuesday of next week.
Still ahead on Fox 35 News at 5, which airports are the worst to catch a flight out of? A new list is out, and Orlando International is on it. We'll tell you what makes it one of the worst.
Plus, coming up all new at 6 o'clock, SunPass scammers are taking a toll on drivers. How you can recognize these fake messages.
you could win a $500 gift card.
Watch Good Day Orlando for your chance to win.
Coming up next at 5:30, former President Donald Trump is narrowing down his list of VP candidates.
And a familiar name to Florida voters is on the short list. We'll tell you who. And raising the road. A major roadway in Deltona keeps getting flooded during storms, and now the city has a unique solution to the problem.
There's tons of food trucks, from tacos to burgers to barbecue.
This week, it's a taste of the tropics as chefs compete in a Caribbean clash. Who will breeze to victory?
Fox 35's Food Truck Throwdown. Watch Good Day Orlando Extra Friday at 10.
Fox 35 News is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
The $1 Million Music Game Show is back.
We need you to remember the lyrics of the song.
Don't forget the lyrics, all new tonight on Fox.
The big story at 5:30. This is an image many people across Central Florida will never forget. Roads, homes, and businesses all underwater after Hurricane Ian dumped inches of rain back in 2022. This here video is from Deltona. The flooding was so bad there that some people were cut off from the city. The road that connects the east and west side of that city was underwater for days.
And that impacted emergency services and the ability for people to get out. Fox 35's Chris Lindsay is along Elkham Boulevard with the latest.
As previously mentioned, they've gotten much of the funding needed for this project. The next step is to connect with engineers to decide whether they're going to lift the road or go with that bridge option. Reporting live in Volusia County, Chris Lindsay, Fox 35 News.
Chris, thanks so much. The express lanes on I-4 could be extended through Seminole and up through Volusia County, eventually at least. FDOT says they will study the interstate to see if there's enough traffic demand to make express lanes necessary. If they think it makes sense, we could see express lanes through Volusia County by 2030. Construction is already underway to extend westbound I-4 Express from Universal to Disney World.
An emotional day in France as thousands from all around the world came together to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion. 2,500 Americans were killed on that day and more than 5,000 others were wounded. They were among the more than 16 million Americans who served during World War II. Fewer than 120,000 of them are still alive. President Joe Biden spoke in France this morning to honor the survivors and remember those lost.
We must remember the fact that they were heroes here that day does not absolve us from what we have to do today. Democracy is never guaranteed. Every generation must preserve it, defend it, and fight for it.
President Biden is set to give another speech in Normandy tomorrow focused on defending freedom and democracy around the world. And as a sign of gratitude for D-Day, France presented a lit candle to the U.S. It's called the Flame of Liberty. Fox 35's Chelsea Torres is joining us live tonight in the nation's capital, where that flame is burning right now. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, Luann. You know, the French ambassador tells me that the Flame of Liberty shows France's appreciation to its allies for storming Normandy during World War II. After D-Day's 80th anniversary ceremonies today, the Flame of Liberty will continue to burn at the French Embassy in remembrance. In Washington, Chelsea Torres, Fox 35 News.
Chelsea, thank you. Also over in Normandy today, the Orlando firefighters' Pipes and Drums. The group led the American Fire Service Pipe Band Parade. They will spend the next few weeks over there, and they'll be back here in Orlando later this month. Well, police officers are not the only ones who will be wearing body cameras on the job. Some discount store workers may also have an extra eye on you. The parent company of TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods is equipping their employees with body cameras to deter theft. Those cameras are worn by loss prevention associates. TJ Maxx says the footage is only shared upon request by law enforcement or in response to a subpoena. The company had more than $112 billion in losses in 2022 due to stolen merchandise. TJX Companies sent us a statement in response to the news saying in part, quote, "At TJX, the safety of our associates and our customers is always a top priority. We hope that these body cameras will help us de-escalate incidents, deter crime, and demonstrate to our associates and customers that we take safety in our stores seriously." End quote. Coming up next here at 5, a quick-thinking neighbor helped save a man's life.
And today he was honored for his actions, the special award he received for saving a life.
And some bad news for clumsy cooks out there. Researchers are answering the age-old question. Is the 5-second rule really a thing? Hear what the experts have to say about eating food off the floor. Plus, Noah.
All right, you need some water over the next few days. It's going to continue to be very hot. We're also tracking some thunderstorms tonight that will be severe in many spots. Your latest radar update in a few minutes.
And saving you money on the Fox 35 Pump Patrol. Gas is $3.19 a gallon at the Chevron on U.S. Highway 27 near Woodcrest Way in Claremont.
Amy, honey, I just love Fox Local.
You can check out Fox Local too and stream Fox 35 News. Download it now on your smart TV.
This is my favorite show.
Get up and go with Deborah Cho. Weekday mornings on Good Day Orlando.
New details tonight. A Quiet Place is the newest haunted house coming to Universal's Halloween Horror Nights this year. The house will be based on both movies where monsters attack anything that makes any noise. This will be the first house ever to use American Sign Language, just like the characters do in the movies. And a neighbor's quick actions helped save the life of a man who went into cardiac arrest in his garage.
Yeah, that neighbor rushed over when he saw what was happening and performed CPR until paramedics arrived. Fox 35's Morgan Parrish was there when he was given an award. And now that hurricane season has started, we are tracking some developments in the Atlantic.
Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Bergren is joining us now. I know earlier we checked on the cameras around Central Florida. It was pretty dark out there. Have the storm started?
They're really starting to pop up in the last 20 minutes even. Yeah, we'll probably hear it here at the station for too much longer. Good old downpour in Lake Mary. Here's the loop of the radar over the last 1 hour. Notice we're starting to see the activity really start to uptick right now. We've got a couple of very intense lightning storms down by Lakeland. We'll track those in a second, but it's this area in black that I highlighted. That's where I think that the target area will be for the sea breezes to collide, and there'll be a lot of storms here in the next couple of hours, right centered along Interstate 4 from now through about 8 to 9 o'clock. Some tremendous lightning producers down here around, this is just outside of our area, but Lake Wales and over towards Lakeland. This storm in particular right here going towards Polk City, producing just an immense amount of lightning, 65 bolts in the last 10 minutes. That's impressive even for Florida standards. So these are producing dangerous lightning. And three-dimensionally, these storms are actually about 40 to 50,000 feet right now. This top line here is 60,000 feet. That just shows you how humid and unstable the overall atmosphere is that these storms are able to grow that tall. Heads up for anyone near the theme parks or Disney Springs. There's a downpour just to the west by a couple of miles. We'll keep an eye on that in the next little while. Some downpours here east of Snow Hill and also building around Winter Springs and Midway Park. We'll keep an eye on that. This right here, right around the Sanford area, is a downpour right over Lake Monroe. We'll see if that grows to severe limits in the next half hour to an hour. But you see the rain amounts here, the rain rate in the purple, that's 4+ inches per hour, so an inch per 15 minutes. That's what that is. So purple, an inch every 15 minutes, and then I think we'll have spots that get over that in the next little while. A pretty good downpour and electric thunderstorm here to the south of Pearson. The only active severe storm warning is clipping, or at least it was clipping, Flagler County in St. Johns County. This is for some 60-mile-an-hour winds that were recorded through 6 o'clock. So heads up northern Flagler County, folks. We'll keep an eye on that. But this storm is probably going to stay just north of Palm Coast, I think, in the next hour. You can see the dark bases to the clouds. This is age-old meteorology. Whenever you see how this cloud right here? So the base is getting dark. That means the moisture and the water content in the cloud is really getting almost to the point it's about to whoosh, rain all out. So when you look up, like this afternoon is a great example because of how unstable and humid it is. Once the cloud base gets really dark and it's not raining yet, within a handful of minutes that will be downpouring, and you'll see that. 85 right now in Seminole County. Today it got to 100 in Sanford, 99 in Kissimmee, 98 the high in Claremont, 97 in Leesburg, 98 in DeLand. In fact, in Sanford, that temperature of 100 almost set a new record. The record was 101 from 1998 for June the 6th. And interestingly, in the history of Sanford weather records, which go back to the 1940s, there's only ever been 41 days above 100, which when you do the math, that's 0.15% of all days to have ever been observed in Sanford have got officially to 100 or higher degrees. And the last time in June Sanford hit 100 was June the 20th of 2010, and there was actually 5 days in a row that June that did get up to 90 degrees, and our tally this year brings that to about 22 days in the 90s. So the next 3 hours, storms continue to grow. Severe storms are probable in many spots. Large hail and damaging winds. I'll keep an eye on that for you. Lots of lightning as well. After about 9-10 o'clock this evening, things will fade away. Tomorrow, just a handful of thunder showers, not nearly as widespread or as strong as the activity this evening is going to end up being. The weekend's great beach and pool weather, upper 90s. It's dry for the weekend, maybe a few thunder showers on Monday, and then it does look like, if you want to call it that, the start of the rainy and wet season, which is several weeks behind schedule. Officially will begin the middle and end of next week, but no official tropical system is in the cards for Florida next week.
Noah, thank you. Next on Fox 35 News at 5, summer is prime time for insect stings and bites.
We're checking in with an allergist to learn what's best to do if you get stung or bitten.
Gordon Ramsay and Lisa Vanderpump, all new Food Stars, Wednesdays on Fox.
Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars proudly supports Fox 35's Food Truck Throwdown on Good Day Orlando Extra. Jessica Dobson helps you plan your day. Weekday mornings on Good Day Orlando. Fox 35 News is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Legendary rapper Flavor Flav is taking matters into his own hands to save Red Lobster. He posted this photo on social media saying he ordered the entire menu from one restaurant location. He wrote, quote, "Save the Cheddar Bay biscuits." Flav is reportedly in talks to meet with Red Lobster for a potential collab. This comes after the company filed for bankruptcy last month and closed nearly 100 restaurants, including several here in Central Florida.
Those biscuits are good.
What will we
Just
do without
saying.
them? I know.
Well, summer in Central Florida means some long, hot days and insect stings and bites. Doctors call it the season of stings. Well, we're talking everything from wasps and hornets to fire ants and mosquitoes. They are all out in droves right now. Bites and stings can be painful, but for the most part, doctors say you can treat them at home. But for people with severe allergies, an EpiPen is a must. If you can, try not to scratch, because that will only make matters worse and potentially lead to an infection.
We're working on a lot of stories for the Fox 35 News Edge at 6.
And we start tonight with Fox 35's Matt Trezza.
Lots of space to rent in downtown Orlando, but who's going to be setting up shop here? Experts say we could be starting to see the beginning of a real estate turnaround downtown.
We've all seen people walking up to cars in traffic asking for a couple of bucks. In Seminole County, that's actually outlawed, but that could change. I'll explain why coming up.
And storms are really starting to take off across Central Florida. Here's our radar tower tracking those for you. We'll give you a radar update in about 5 minutes.
Fox 35 News is sponsored by ePass.